When you have to do the air nomads right, let them suffocate some people. It's only fair.
Avatar, The Last Airbender reminded me of Avatar, The Last Airbender cartoon.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is elemental.
Ooh, Avatar: The Last Airbender is something that my generation has been traumatized in live action with.
We've got to hear more about this. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Falling Towers Watch the First Podcast, a podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to.
But you still can.
Today, we're doing a review of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action version, 2024 on Netflix. First episode is entitled Aang.
Not Ong. Aang.
And we are celebrating animated show spin-off month. That's a mouthful, but that's what we're doing. So let's get into it. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications, give us a 5-star rating if you're listening in a nice review. Katie would appreciate that.
Very much.
By the way, 3-time Emmy nominee, 1-time Emmy winner, meteorologist Katie Nickolaou, special guest.
Hello. I gotta bump those numbers up. Yeah, I gotta get those numbers higher.
Well, this means that people got it wrong twice when they didn't actually put you all the way to winner. That was it.
So true.
True. And the guy that's breathing down her neck, just one less Emmy than her, Dr. Muhammad Noor.
Hello. Always a pleasure to be on Falling Towers. Watch the first of things. And it's true. One less Emmy. Three fewer nominations.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. I'm not in consideration for any Emmys, and that's fine with me for now. Everybody, if you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, type WTF and the show. Like, for example, you would have said WTF Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. Let us know where it is, and we will review it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right, where do we go from here, Muhammad?
Well, next is Ryan's favorite part of the show, the predictaments, where we predict what each other thought of this show without revealing whether we liked it.
I do love it. That's my favorite. Muhammad, this is a tough one. You love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Cartoon. So I'm going to predict that you liked this show. No matter how much you may critique it or certain aspects of it, I think even if you go, I didn't like this, and I didn't like this, and I didn't like this, you'd still give it like a 7 or 8, because you'll be like, but it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I like that franchise, and it's cool, and I like that stuff. That's the limb I'm climbing out onto. Meteorologist Katie Nickolaou, I'm going to say the same about you. But I think you're going to give us some insights that we're going to enjoy. But I think overall, no matter what, you're going to give it a high mark. What about you, Dr. Noor?
So Ryan, in your case, you were not thrilled with the original cartoon one, at least the one episode you saw. Given that this first episode had at least the first half of the episode had the same plot as that first episode, I don't think all of a sudden you're going to love it a ton more because it's live action. So, but at the same time, I think you still will appreciate elements to it. I'm still going to say for you, I think you're going to be slightly below the 5. I think you're going to be like, not my thing. Katie, I'm going to go on a limb and say you wanted to like it more than you did. That's what I'm going to go on a limb and say that you wanted to like it more than you did. And that, like, you're like, I mean, it's not the disappointment of the 2010 movie that you were alluding to earlier.
There is no movie in Bossing Say.
Yeah, I have a story about that in a second. But I'll say you're more in the 6 range. So
bold.
Okay. Ooh, see this? I've been thinking about this all day too. Sitting in traffic, I'm like, what would Muhammad and Ryan think? I think, Ryan, you're probably a 4.75. think you were, it's kind of like around the same vibe as the animated show, more or less. And Muhammad, I think I'm going to echo what you just said. You wanted it to be good, and you're hoping it's good. And I'm going to say you gave it a 7.25, I think.
3 significant digits.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot. I need to get exact number.
There you go.
This is interesting. So there was a movie as well?
Oh, gosh.
That was
Yeah.
kind of.
Was it called
It
the
was not
same
good.
thing?
It was called The Last Airbender. So it was like along the same vein, but
Immensely unpopular. Immensely unpopular.
butchered it. They called Aang Ong the entire time, and I swear, not many things in this world make me violent. That made little mini Katie a little violent.
Isn't it like M. Night Shyamalan that made it?
It is M. Night
Yeah.
Shyamalan.
Really? He did
Yeah.
that? Wow, it must have been
Yeah.
great then. He's a very good
It was not.
storyteller, right?
It took like
Like-
10 earthbenders to lift a rock.
Oh my God. How many did it take to lift Iran? Is that what we're talking about? Is this a geography movie?
Ryan's like, oh no, I'm in with two people way too into this, this franchise.
You
Way too
nerds.
in.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we go from here?
You're the
Dr. Noor?
person who walked in from outside into the Star Trek convention, and we're like, let me tell you about the Orions and blah.
Yeah, and Ryan's gone.
What's
So
our
I think
next
what
step?
happens next is
Yeah.
while people are making their predictions in the live chat, I give them a summary of the show.
Right. Everybody in the live chat, make your predictions now. Do you think I like this show? Do you think Dr. Noor liked this show? Do you think meteorologist Katie Nickolaou liked this show? Let us know in the live chat or in the comments below. Make your predictions now, but take your time. No rush. Dr. Noor is going to buy us all a little bit of time by telling us what this show is even about.
Yeah, I made this an extra description, not assuming people have not seen any of the franchise. In a world where magicians can control one of 4 elements, water, earth, fire, and air, one person called the Avatar can control all 4 elements. 100 years ago, the Fire Nation fought for control of everything, and they killed all of the air nomads, hoping to also be killing the Avatar in the process. However, the Avatar, a kid airbender named Aang, got lost and frozen away. Now, 100 years later, some water tribe folks find Aang and thaw him. The Fire Nation Prince Zuko learns of his existence and storms the village, and Aang surrenders. But with the help of his new water tribe friends, Aang escapes. He goes back to the place where he grew up and finds the remains of everyone he once knew, and decides he must master all 4 elements to try to bring balance back to the world. So Katie, say it with me. And I believe Aang
can save
the world.
Can save the world.
Yeah,
You know, I just realized something. I believe this kid was the one that auditioned to be Khan. And so then that way he was also like a conqueror. So he was Angus Khan.
Ah, well done.
I'll cut that out of the
could have
edit
seen that coming.
Well done,
because
well done.
because Angus Khan, you see, Angus.
Oh gosh.
We got to move on. Where do we go, Muhammad?
Now's my favorite part of the show. This is the part we like to call Expect Kitchen. Where we spend a little
I'm
time.
getting smarter.
Spend
I'm
a
dodging.
little time on what you expected before watching the show. A lot more time on what we actually get in as we watch the show. Good dodge. Well done.
Yeah,
You're working on my reflexes. I like
I
it.
think it was a ram or a
Ram
charger.
man.
A charger's a good dodge.
Oh.
For you car aficionados. Okay, Dr. Noor, yes, let's compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. What did you get, or what did you expect before watching this first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender entitled Aang?
Well, like Katie, I'm very, very, very familiar with the cartoon thing. So my son watched it repeatedly, I think for like 5 years. Like he would just finish and start it over again. Finish and start it over again, like repeatedly. So I get like almost recite some of the episodes. So, like, I know the stories very well from this franchise. And I'll say, like, my impression of the animated cartoon was like, first season was good, second season was excellent, and third season was like, oh my god, mind blown. It was that good. Like, just the depth of plots, the character growth, everything that happened. They're like, wow. Again, you know, the first season was kind of mixed. So for anybody who may refer to it as babies, I forgive you. So what I expected from this, actually, I held high hopes. I mean, even despite the disappointment of the previous movie. Oh, I actually mentioned one quick thing too. Despite the disappointment of the previous movie, I was like, well, I think they know what went wrong there. They're going to go more true to the stories. They'll try to make it better. So I was hoping this would be not like identical, but very similar in storyline to the original. So again, very good plot. Again, the first episode I wasn't necessarily expecting a ton from, but expecting it to be good. But hopefully with some really good graphics and stuff like that too, as well as the live action thing. But I mentioned that when you mentioned the Bossing Say piece just now, Katie. Minutes before this text, my daughter was texting me about somebody trying to like fool somebody, and I just texted back, "There is no war in Bossing Say," which is a quote from repeatedly from second season of Avatar. Of course, she knows exactly what that means as you do.
Yes.
It was basically a brainwashing thing. Like, if the government says this enough times, everybody believes that.
Mm-hmm.
What a nerdathon is going on in here. This is
It's
too much
amazing.
fun. I love finally being on the outside of the nerdathon. Usually I'm on the inside being like, oh, no, it's so cool. And people are looking at me like I'm crazy. This is fun. I like it when people nerd out and I have no idea. And that makes me feel like I'm all cool. Like, I don't watch that show. I'm cool. I don't know
Just
what
wait till we
they're
start
talking
talking about Jet.
about.
Oh, Jet.
That's a good Paul McCartney song, right?
Oh,
Or are we talking about Benny and the Jets? Anyway, please continue.
I'm done. Thank you.
What about you, Katie? Before you watched this first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender entitled Ong,
Ugh.
what did you what did you expect, if anything?
I had very capped expectations. My friend Brandy and I, we did the stream for Order the Blue Lotus that reviews Avatar, the animated series, which we both absolutely love. And it took us 3 years to get through. But we were coming up on the end of season 3 and we were thinking about the live action. And every week we'd be like, what are you thinking? And we would just be like, beige, neutral, not even touching it. We'll just watch it when it comes out. But the first trailer came out and I'm immediately like, okay, this has to have good graphics. It's no longer the M. Night Shyamalan version. We have actual looking like rocks that look like rocks. It'll be great. So that was the only thing I had going into that was they're going to have good effects and his name is going to be Aang.
Wow.
I left the door wide open because when that movie came out, I was 13, I think it was. It's like right, the prime group, and that was the only time I left a movie theater being like, I want my money back. It's not even my money; it was my parents. So,
so you wanted
they
to profit
deserve it
off
back
of it.
more. Yes, but yeah, no, very low expectations.
Well, I guess it's time for me to tell all of y'all what I expected, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
I play the Avatar: The Last Airbender video game regularly, and I have my Avatar: The Last Airbender playpen over here. I don't know if you could see it over there. That's fun.
Hello.
Sometimes I just like to roll around in that with some pretzels. And I also have my Avatar: The Last Airbender bed sheets, which are so much fun because then you feel like
it'll be Appa. It'll be Appa sheets.
Right. Well, that's
Yes.
that's the ox beaver blanket that I have.
Oh gosh.
He's an ox beaver. Anyway, I'll tell you really what I expected. I didn't expect it. Honestly, I expected not to like it because I watched the first cartoon and everybody check it out. It was WTF episode number 83. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg and I had this very special guest, Desmond Heck, joining us for this one. This is when Mike famously called it a show for babies. And he emphasized the babies. Although I will say one of us rated it pretty high. and 2 of us did not. Check that out. That is episode 83 when we review that animated show. So I expected that it wasn't going to be very good. I expected that it was going to be like, plus it was 63 minutes long,
What?
plus 63 minutes
Oh,
long.
this one. Sorry, I
yes.
was thinking about the cartoon one. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was like,
no
what?
problem. So I was just kind of expecting, I was like, oh man, it's going to be a longer version of something I didn't really like. And I expected I was going to have fun on the review, but not watching the show. But then when I put it on, I was like, you know what? Let's turn that frown upside down, Ryan. Let's make mountains of fun out of molehills of poo. And which is a fun game. You should try it.
Oh,
and
gosh.
It's like a sandcastle. And I was like, let's just enjoy it. Let's go in and try to, don't expect that you're not going to like it. Try to enjoy it. And then I got, well, you'll just have to wait to find out, because now Dr. Nora is going to tell us what you actually got.
Found a very mixed bag. Very mixed bag. The story I love. I mean, it was fairly consistent to the story. I have some questions for you, Katie, about some aspects of the story, but it was fairly consistent to like basically the first 2 episodes of the cartoon, right? In terms of like, Aang getting, I mean, some of the details were a little bit different, but like Aang getting frozen, being found by Katara, and Zuko coming out, and that was good. I like the world building element to it. But honestly, those are the things I like the most. And the problem is like those were like givens. Like if you're doing a problem how there's stuff is given, those were givens. Because like no offense to the creators of this show, but they didn't make any of that. Like that was already there. The words that like, so I watched this both with my wife and with my son. The words forced exposition came up a lot.
Oh gosh.
I was like, okay, yes, I see what is happening as Aang is sitting there describing his feelings in gross detail. Like, okay, got it. Things like that were kind of frustrating. The VFX, I don't know what it was about the VFX, but somehow like it pulled me out repeatedly, like especially when they were there with the Water Tribe. I mean, the opening scene, I thought the opening sequence was excellent. I mean, it actually reminded me of the opening sequence for Slow Horses that we did not too long ago. Like this, like good, cold open action sequence, blah, 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 let's, moving in. That was great. But like when they got to the Water Tribe, like it was very, very obvious to me they were not outside. I don't know if it was the lighting or that they just didn't look the slightest bit cold or what. But
distinct lack of wind.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it just looks so fake. And I was like, did they have any budget for this? The acting was mixed. Some of the acting was pretty good. And I'm usually not critical of the acting, but like some of this was kind of mixed. I felt like, ugh. One thing actually which bugged me too is like in the attack on the Airbenders tribe, I was just like, man, Airbenders like suck in this show. So like relatively speaking, like if you could be a firebender or an airbender, like, this was not so true in the cartoon. If you could be a firebender or an airbender, there would be a no-brainer what you would be in this world, because it's just like the firebenders had every power of the airbenders plus fire in it.
Yes.
Okay, like why do the airbenders even still exist?
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, there was just a lot of stuff I didn't enjoy. However, it was Avatar. It was that great story, so that it pulls it up. But I was imagining if I didn't know the story, I would have been like, ugh. So I'll stop there for now. I have multiple questions for both of y'all.
What about you, Katie? You guys are so freaking cute right now, by the way. I cannot believe this. This is the most fun I've ever had watching you guys nerd out. Katie, what did you actually get? Were you like harumphing about it like Muhammad, or were you like squee?
I will take you through the first 10 minutes of it. I was, oh my gosh, look, the earthbending, the firebending, they look so real. Then they freaking cremated some people on screen.
Yeah, that was intense.
Actually, I had to pause it. I was like, what? And I look at the rating for it. I'm like, this was for children. You can't just do that. Like, and if they were going to do that, then you have to do the air nomads right. Let them suffocate some people. It's only fair.
Ooh, that's cool.
Just saying. Yeah. Oh, Legend of Korra. Next one. WTF, Legends of Korra. But yes, no, I went from, oh, cool, yeah, this is Avatar I know, to holy crow, whoa, to, yeah, are they outside or inside? The effects were so varied, and I'm hoping more consistency comes in the future with it. Um, I will say the one thing that I got that I thought we were gonna get was the explanation of water, earth, fire, air, the
Yeah.
Avatar, the
Oh, and
intro.
Grand did it.
She did it as a spoken word. So like, what,
Yeah,
some
her
of the things
reading of
were
that was
pain.
so flat. Like what?
It
Like
was so flat. But I did enjoy some of the acting performances. Sokka knocked it out of the park. Like,
oh
if
yeah.
I get the chance to meet that guy, oh my gosh, yeah,
I think
amazing
he's going to some
job.
of the Galaxy cons.
No way.
I think so. I think I remember seeing that.
There goes my money right out the door. But yeah, just the effects were mixed, the acting was mixed, but it was Avatar, which goes to show how much I care about this fandom or cult. At this point, it's a cult.
I feel very validated in my prediction so far.
Ooh.
However, tell y'all what I actually got. I will also use the word mixed with the acting, although I think there was only one ingredient, to be honest, and it was not good. I think that the one ingredient was bad acting throughout. I was surprised, but that's just me. And it was kind of, you know, the writing was okay. It was kind of, it did very much remind me of the cartoon. Like, was this kind of? I felt like when I was watching it, I was like, I feel like I remember this scene in the cartoon,
Yeah.
and I remember this
First
scene in the
half,
cartoon.
or actually, I guess the first 3/4 of it was the first episode from the cartoon. The
Yeah.
last quarter was from the second episode.
Yeah, it really felt like there were some strong similarities in scenes. Like they weren't taking a bunch of liberties and just recreating the story. They were basically just following the same story as the cartoon, but just in live action form, because it felt very familiar.
The opening sequence was new, though. That didn't happen in the original one.
Overall, though, I felt it to be an easy watch. I felt like it moved quickly enough. So I wasn't mad. Although I did check the time often. I remember I was like, whoa, only 7 minutes have gone by. I'm going to die. I am going to
Just
not
like the
make
Air
it.
Nomads.
Oh!
Yeah.
Too soon?
Yeah, no, right on time. So, it was very two parts to it, things I liked and the things I didn't like. But that's where I stood on that. Can you guys tell me a bit more about how closely this resembled the story that you guys already know and love? Because it felt close in that first episode, at least.
Yeah, I'd say it felt very close to it. I had the animation that I watched. I had the comic book version of the episode, so I know the original ones almost word for word. And yeah, it felt like a decent adaptation that was just pulled a little bit thin, like dragged out to fill time. Didn't necessarily need it to be that way.
Yeah, I agree. I was very close. Again, the opening thing with the fooling the Earth Kingdom by sending that fake message, that I think that was completely new. I don't remember that. But
Yeah.
but Chosen sending the army to kill all the Airbenders, that totally happened. I don't think. What was this? Where was Aang where he got frozen? 'Cause that's not how that happened in the original one, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I'm gonna go flying someplace, and then all of a sudden he was like over some ocean and it was splashing. Like, I mean, I remember Adam going like, fly higher.
Exactly. I'm like, come on, Appa, put some pep in the step. Let's go.
Right? It's like, just go up.
I did have a couple questions about that, actually. This ox beaver.
Bison.
Flying bison.
Do they live forever? Because it didn't show him getting frozen. He just suddenly showed up 100 years later.
He was frozen in there too.
He froze.
Oh, we just didn't. I just
You saw it
missed
like really quick. I didn't catch it because I watched it twice. Like I said, I watched it the first time with just my wife, and then later with my son. Actually, I said just my son. Actually, I watched it with my son and my parents the second time. But like we saw him, but just it was like a 1 second thing. Like just as they took like defrosted Aang away, there was a quick look, and there was Appa frozen still over there.
And then he
We didn't see him thaw
unfroze.
out. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Like when Aang
Yeah.
blew the whistle, he must have come out. I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
they
works.
changed that scene a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then here was my only other qualm with this entire episode. And that was, so Aang pretty consistently and easily flies around, right? He
That
goes,
was
oh
not the
no,
cartoon.
I gotta call my water buffalo. And he goes like, Appa, Appa, and he's flying around and
Yeah.
he's jumping down from things. I mean, he's just like Tinkerbell, like he has full mastery of flight, right?
That's
So-
different.
Yeah.
So then when he was escaping the fire pirate ship, number one, why did he need a contraption to help him fly? And number two, when they blast him out of the sky and he's falling, I'm like, why don't you just fly instead of crash? Like he was falling and he's like, oh no, I'm going to die. Oh no, somebody save me. I'm like, wait, but you can fly. So why don't you just do that and you'll be fine? What did I miss there?
No, you're correct.
you missed
Oh, I
nothing.
hope not.
That was a change. In the original one, he had to use the little like glider thing because he's an airbender, so he would just make air go under the glider to help him fly. He couldn't just fly. Like he wasn't just like Superman, like he was in the beginning of this show.
Exactly. And they touch on it more in Legends of Korra, where like the air nomads, in order to achieve flight, which is possible, there's a certain process and things you must do and let go of. And no way that kid's doing it.
Yeah, no, I was wondering why he bothered taking the glider too. Like, I mean, this kid looks like this thing can just fly. We'll just go.
Why do
You're
we
gone.
have gliders?
I see. So he's supposed to not be able to just fly on his own like in the cartoon. So they should have taken all those extra things out, and then him getting shot down and falling like that would be a lot more believable, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Which
felt
is weird
like
that you move
they
something
wanted
that works, right? Like,
yeah,
why would you do-
exactly. Exactly. Like they had the exact thing was laid out for them. And they wanted to make it unique and everything, which I understand, but you don't tweak the things that are essential to the basics. Like
Well said.
you can change scenes, but you can't change core aspects. And the thing, I don't know if you looked into it, Ryan, but the original creators of the animated show were a part of this originally when they
cool.
launched it on Netflix, and they left, and because of creative differences. I'm pretty sure was it, which was pretty much everyone's first of oh gosh,
Big
M. Night Shyamalan again.
So Mohammed, you said you had a bunch of questions for Katie. Let's hear them.
Yes.
So this is going back now to the history. So I'm curious, what do you think? And obviously, we haven't seen it in this first episode. Maybe it's in the season, maybe not. I don't know. Do you think in this version, Chosen killed Roku too?
Good question.
So for Ryan,
I like
Roku,
this.
remember every time an avatar dies, is replaced by another avatar. The previous avatar was a firebender, and he lived at the same time as Chosen, that original firebending king. So in the original avatar, Chosen basically like abandoned him on a volcano and let him die or something like that when he could have saved him, and he let him die. Yeah, it was very brutal. It was really hard. But it's something that happened much like we wouldn't have seen that in the first episode. That's way later. I'm curious if that's true for this one, or they were just retcon, because there was no reference to Roku or anything like that at all. It was just like Avatar.
Honestly, I mean, it seemed like they gave Kyoshi a little bit more love than Roku.
Yeah, I've heard that she's in this series somewhere.
Yeah, it sounds like from the fan art that I've seen popping up on my For You page.
Koshi's the avatar, like before that, who was an earthbender initially.
Yes. Cool
and badass.
Earthbender. Yeah, exactly. Very much so. Honestly, I think they gotta keep it because it has so many ties to season 3 of the animated show. So unless they completely diverge, which is now a possibility since I don't know what they're thinking. I'm 80-20, they'll keep it that way.
Got it.
That's
I was surprised since we were
seeing
Chosen in the beginning. I was surprised that wasn't then worked in, but maybe they figured that was too much to try to work in.
That's where they drew the line.
Yeah.
Good question, though. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I'm kind of a little upset about it because Muhammad stole my question. I've been wondering about this the whole time if Kyoshi was Airbender with the volcano and stuff. And so I'm pretty bummed that he stole my fire.
Good pun. I like it.
Well, here's a question for you guys.
Amen.
I'm assuming, okay, Muhammad's favorite character is Aang.
Mm-mm. Not in this one.
In general, I just mean.
Oh. No, still not.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. So then who are your favorite characters?
Why don't you guys go first?
Oh, I gotta think too.
Well, let's say for this episode first. For this episode.
For this live action, easily Sokka.
Oh,
easily. Yeah. He has so much charisma and sass and like
Sokka right here.
Yes. Oh, and he plays the character from the animated show so well. Is a copy and paste.
Oh, that's right.
So that easily him. Animated show. I like Katara. Yeah. Take names.
Is that the sister or the girl?
The woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked up Sokka a bit. I kind of read up on him. Turns out his first name is I'm Gonna Get You.
I'm gonna get you, Sokka.
You see, Katie, that's a movie from the 80s.
I knew it was some sort of reference, so I just laugh along.
Thank you.
You, Ryan, who's your favorite?
My favorite character, I mean, can I say the water buffalo? I don't know. He was okay.
I mean, that's a very fair choice.
Because
a lot
his
of people would say that for the
acting
animated
suck.
one.
Yeah.
Appa.
Also the girl Katara, she had a nice face. She had a good, pleasant face, which I don't know, it's just nice to look at, a pleasant, easy to look at face. Yeah, she was expressive.
He has the loopies from the cartoon too.
Yes.
So that was nice. That was cool. That's all I got in that realm. No, Muhammad, you have to tell us your favorite.
Oh, I'm gonna say Gyatso, the teacher who died.
Oh,
I liked him.
Close second.
Yeah, Gyatso was great. So I would do it. But I'm curious, what did you guys think of Iroh? That was Zuko's uncle on the ship. The guy from Kim's Convenience, the actor from Kim's Convenience.
He sure seemed like a good guy for a bad guy.
That was a big change from the cartoon because he eventually becomes that really good guy. But like in the first season, he's just like in there with the firebenders, like shoot the fire, do everything else.
I guess I'll shoot.
He sure seemed like a good guy for a bad guy.
Yeah. He has a sad backstory. His son was killed and stuff like that. So that's why he's kind of like helping Zuko. I don't know if you know the reason Zuko's eye is like burned up like that is his father did that to him.
When he was young, because he's been on that boat for 3 years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think that's a good story that his dad said, don't come back until you find the Avatar. And so he's been out there for 3 years. So you could see him as a troubled guy, because, what is he, 16? So he's kicked out at 13 or something like that. I could see that kind of messing with him. Although he didn't really have the intimidation factor that I think that they were trying to do, but maybe it's intimidating when facing a 7-year-old, whatever this kid is. Aang, yeah.
Like 12, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's 7.
Then how old is I'm Gonna Get You, Sokka?
He's like 15, I think.
Yeah, he's like 15.
There's got to be more than 3 years in between those two. And then the girl Katara would be what?
It's like,
I guess in between. I don't know.
Wow.
Puberty hits different in the Water Tribe, dude.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, very much what you said with the Zuko thing about trying to be intimidating. But I do think that Iroh, they did him justice. And that's all credit to the actor. His name is blanking on me right now, but I follow him on Twitter and he's so invested in Iroh. And he and the man who took over for Mako after he passed away, the original voice actor for Iroh, they're like talking to their friends online. They're like Iroh 2.0, Iroh 3.0. And it's just, it's one of the one of my favorite things from behind the scenes of even
Oh,
the
that's
first episode was
lovely.
just seeing them
Yeah.
interact.
One thing that keeps on making me laugh is that guy. Remember, he was also in like a lot of the Star Wars series, and like he was in
Yes.
Mandalorian and stuff like that too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like a random like X-wing pilot, yeah, but you'd see him a lot.
Live in
He'd
every
show up a
fan
lot.
dream.
Yeah, but he was in Kim's Convenience, and in that show, what was funny is you remember what they called him all the time in that show? Everybody called him Appa, which apparently is like Korean for dad.
It's
But it's
so
funny that he's
cool.
in the show now with an Appa, but it's not.
Man,
We got to see the two together.
Yeah.
What fun.
That'll happen, right? Second season, right? Didn't Iroh's the one who basically
Hopefully.
like helped Appa.
Yeah. I'm well, if they keep it the same.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
Okay, one more nitpick. So sorry that I'm throwing these out. But when the airbenders got attacked in the Southern Air Temple of Saskatchewan, there was the one guy that sees the bad fire people attacking, and he goes, "Brothers and sisters, we're under attack." I'm like, you wouldn't say brothers and sisters.
That's exactly what Adam said.
You
Adam's
would
like, why
get
didn't you say brothers and sisters? Go
to
attack!
the point. That was just my
Exactly
one
what Adam
qualm
said.
there. Yeah, Adam was right. I agree with Adam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my
Totally.
parents
Now
said-
it's like
Oh,
you
sorry,
have a few seconds to live. You don't just add brothers and sisters. You say run.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. My parents' favorite character was Aang. They both like, I like Aang the best.
Aw.
Did they say why? Did they say that kid's got grit?
It might be the only name they could remember.
Muhammad, did you have any other fun questions saved up
I had a lot
for
of
Katie?
notes.
Because that's my favorite part is when you ask Katie questions about this show.
I love answering.
I did like the quote, "Let's go save that weird kid." I thought that was very funny. I thought just in general, Flocka was. He's always been funny in the cartoons too, but I liked him a lot in there.
I was worried they were going to tone him down a lot because leading up to the first episode online, the hubbub was like he wasn't going to be as sexist as the animated show, and it was going to be toned down and pulled back in and all this stuff. And I'm just like, but that's not Sokka.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I just had the word "forced" so many times in my nose. Forced this, forced that. Aang doesn't look cold at all. He's even coming out in like shorts and sitting in the water dry. Like, okay.
Oh, but I do have a fan theory for that.
Oh,
A little crossover from Order of the Blue Lotus. Aang, because he's an airbender, he can manipulate the air around his body. So, as long as he can contain a bubble around his body, he preheats it with his own heat and doesn't have to spend money.
that's true. He doesn't let it
energy
dissipate.
spending it.
Ah, smart. I like it.
That one's from my friend Brandon.
Good science. I like it.
Yes. Pays to be a nerd.
Pays to be a nerd.
Damn, I had
Speaking of
another
paid
question.
nerds. No, just kidding.
I have another question, but I lost it because I was trying to think like about that air around you. But then wouldn't you be kind of like breathing your own carbon dioxide?
It could
But then I
just
was
leave a gap around his mouth.
Like a ski mask.
there we go.
Yeah.
All right. I could see that then. Okay. That works. Oh, I did wonder that the fire pirate ship is very visible. You know,
Yeah.
that black smoke coming up. So I wonder if that was maybe deliberate, like there as a warning, like we are coming, intimidation and fire. But yeah, I
Could
do
be.
agree, Muhammad, or I think it was you that was saying like that the fire people and the air people basically had the exact same weapons or special powers, except that the fire people also got to add fire to their thing, making them much more intimidating and dangerous, I would
It's
think.
no brainer in this one. Yeah.
If they
So I
can't
guess you wouldn't
suffocate
want to
people, the
fly.
air
Well, they
nomads
could
get
fly with fire.
nuked.
They're flying like jet or like with rockets too.
Propulsion. Well, how does
Yeah.
that differ from their story in the cartoon?
I remember the Fire Lord could do that. 'Cause I remember Ozai could do that. 'Cause I remember that it was
Yeah.
Mark Hamill actually played Ozai in the cartoon.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and he eats that up.
Oh yeah.
Him and Jason Isaacs is Zhao.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that the water people had cool clothes. I thought it looked
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It
The
was a
clothes were very
cosplayer's
true to the
dream.
cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were very true to the cartoon, but at the same time, one of the big gripes that I kind of had in the back of my mind was, okay, where did they get the blue dye? Where did they get the fabric? Where did they get all of this? That's a little too clean. Like,
It's very
it was
clean.
just a little too crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah, those clothes were very fresh. Speaking of fresh, let's talk about you for a moment, Katie Nickolaou. What do you say about that?
Ooh, absolutely.
Here's the question I'd like to pose to you. What's new?
Hmm. Good question. The shirt. That's about it. Uh, no, actually, a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. Finally getting my act together with the Welcome to Our Cult show, which I'm now starting to think we need to indoctrinate you into Avatar fully, Ryan. Yes.
Look at that look.
It's only a 3-season commitment. It's
How many
uh
episodes per season?
like 22.
Look at that.
Half hour. There's even 22 minutes. So, yeah. We need to do that. But no, I have a couple coming up, just scheduling wise, trying to figure out when to do the live stream. We're doing a Welcome to Our Cult Has Been Hotel, because that has been my latest obsession and fixation, and I absolutely love it. And then we're doing a Welcome to Our Cult Galaxy Quest,
Cool.
fan favorite. So just kind of setting things up. Keep an eye out over the next few weeks for some hints of that.
Can you tell everybody what that show, Welcome to Our Cult, is?
Yes, it's where I take my friends and force them to watch my favorite shows and give them a choice to pick if they want to join the cult or not. It's not a choice. I know where they all live. But yeah, they you look scared, Ryan.
Yeah.
But it's great. We have a really fun time just talking about shows and fandoms that are really popular with people who have never even touched them and getting virgin viewing eyes on it, as we've put it. So just a fun, chaotic time, as always.
And you have something happening at STLV in a couple of months.
Yes, the science quiz show live. Oh, it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be a lot of punches thrown, just like, yeah, let's go, science.
Lots of expectations.
So you
Yeah,
guys have a science
exactly.
quiz show. That's right. That's going to be at STLV. That's Creation Entertainment's STLV Trek to Las Vegas. That's the very first weekend in August. And can you tell us what this science quiz show is?
Fun. No, I mean,
In a
Dr.
word.
Mohammed Noor got it all started, and myself and Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel are just going along, and we have our own specialized fields of science where we pull Star Trek-y questions with, and yeah, there are prizes. I don't know,
Fun
you
as
probably
hell.
can summarize it better.
That was great. That was great. It's an entryway to like basically use pop culture to let people learn good science concepts.
Well, and it's nice to see people actually like are attaching to it and like are remembering things from shows, and it's good to know that we can combine our two loves.
Yes.
When we
Totally.
do virtual TrekCon, it is the highlight to every virtual TrekCon for me, watching these three brilliant people teaching us things, being fun, juggling all these things. Katie's like juggling scores and people and asking questions and all that. Anne Marie is juggling her earphones. No, but it really is a highlight. You guys are so fun and charming and intelligent. It's unbelievable how smart these people are. Everybody should check that out. So that's going to be at STLV in just a couple months.
It's gonna
Okay.
be awesome. I'm already working on the questions for it, by the way. I have like all these
Oh.
sticky notes like a maniac on my desk.
Very
Love
nice.
As
it.
I'm rewatching episodes, I'm like, there could be a question.
Love it. Love it.
And where can people find you online, Katie?
Oh, yes, you can find me at weather_Katie on all of the social medias, even TikTok, 'cause they're not taking that unless it's from my cold, dead hands. And you can also find me at So Many Random Fandoms on YouTube.
So many random
follow.
fandoms. Yes,
I love your
excellent
posts.
follow.
Aw, thanks. It's, yeah, weather with a bit of fun on the side.
Yeah. I learned a lot actually from it, like especially like how meteorology works in terms of like how it works both in the show and how you're actually doing predictions. I mean, you do a lot of explanations of stuff too. A lot of good science, a lot of just
Exactly.
entertainment. It's all great.
You get to see all the morning show shenanigans of, hey guys, it's 2 a.m. and I'm putting makeup on in a closet.
Yeah. Random camera just sliding by.
Yes. Oh, the next time that happens, I'm gonna be like, these are not the droids you're looking for. And just see how many pop culture references I can throw in every time a camera screws up.
Speaking
Too
of
many
pop
Avatar
culture,
references.
no Avatar references. Well, although you could say there's an air current coming in, or what are those things that move? A system coming in, like Avatar blowing in air, or fire. You know, it's a hot day. I think those fire benders are going on a bender. You know, you could, boy, that the
Be an
fun never
Avatar
ends.
fandom forecast.
I do need to do that. Also, if the camera is on fire, I will make a Fire Nation reference and then leave the building. Be like, Zuko here, and then walk out.
Azula.
Oh, yes. Oh, you don't.
Ryan hasn't seen
Wait.
Azula yet.
Ryan, you haven't seen Azula yet?
There is no Dana, only Azula.
Oh,
Good
she
crossing
has
the
one of the most.
streams there. I like it.
Thank
That was
you.
good.
Let's move on to the terrible twos, shall we?
Bottom line. Line on the bottom. Bottom line.
All
This
right.
is how the 100-Year War started. It was over this.
Yep.
It's the final two questions of the show, everybody. Question number 1, Dr. Muhammad Noor. It's a toughie. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode of Avatar, The Last Bending Guy?
I struggled on this one so much, I tell you. Because, like, I love the concept. I love the cartoon. But, like, I feel like I can't give credit to this one for the concept because it's like, it was already there. It's like somebody just copying Star Wars and not doing it as well. Like, you don't say, but Star Wars is good. Like, no, that doesn't make it
Fair
okay.
point.
So the balance I put in the end is I put a 5.8.
Oh.
Yeah. My unbalanced one.
Wow.
It hurt me. It hurt me to write that. I was like, oh.
Dr. Noor the Ruthless is his new name.
I'm without
is
Ruth.
Colder
no
than
Ruth
a
here.
cold bender.
But definitely like definitely is warm. Definitely colder than the people who were in the Water Tribe who didn't seem cold at all.
They were cool. What about you, Katie? Scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, scale of 1 to 10. Because it was colorful and bright, and it had Sokka, got a few bonus points. Because of Gran and the exposition, it got docked a couple. So I ended up being around a 6.25.
Oh, we're very close.
Yes, very, very close to it. Warmer than average, I would say. But that's because I'm a perpetual optimist, and nothing will do that. Nothing will stop that. So
we'll see about that. We'll keep trying.
That's a challenge, universe. I attempted too much.
Well, I'll tell y'all, scale of 1 to 10 for me, 4. I wanted to give it lower, but you know, like all in all, like there are so many things to point out, you know, for me to cry about. But all in all, like at least it moved. I think that I don't dock it that it's taking the lore from a different show. I think that was the best aspect because I'm just looking at this on its own. I'm like, I like the mythology of it. I like the world building of it. I like the lore. You know, those are things that I like to celebrate, the creativity of people. Maybe they don't knock it out of the park with certain aspects of storytelling, but I think that if there's a fun, interesting, new, creative story and world, I'm like, okay, that gets points from me. So that definitely bumped it up to a 4. And I think that it's a fun world and it's a big world. And I feel like many adventures could be had. So, you know, not terrible. It was just a show for, you know, people that like that kind of stuff.
I was like, I wouldn't be babies, not with the like cremated person and dead body and stuff.
You got a 4-year-old who's like, what just happened to the air guy?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to learn about thermodynamics.
He got incinerated. All right. Question number 2. For the purpose of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender, but now the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet. Dr. Muhammad Noor, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
Yes, I already did. So that's as far as I've gotten. I've only watched the first and second.
Katie.
You what?
Yeah, sorry. I actually would like to, but I've just been busy, so I just haven't gotten around to it. I will, but I just haven't done it yet. I'm sorry, Katie. You were disappointed in me.
Mhm. It's been out for how long?
I
At least
know, I
2
know.
weeks.
I know. I'm
3
trying
weeks, a
to.
month, who knows?
Yeah, the problem is my son Adam doesn't want to watch it right now because he's been watching with his friends, and he only got as far as the second
Oh.
episode. He's like, I don't want to get ahead. And if I have the choice of watching this alone or watching something with him, I'm like, no, I'm gonna rather watch something with him this whole week. So
Oh, fair enough, I
Nerds,
guess.
please break it up. There's been enough violence to the Airbenders, nerds. Please.
and Earthbender too. That Earthbender got incinerated
Oh
too.
yeah, he got
Poor
blasted.
Earthbender.
He
Well, that
fought
was a great point, though, Mohammed. Watch it with your fam. It's way better.
Mhm.
Katie, would you watch the second episode of Your Own Volition?
I would, and I did. I've watched the whole season, and yes. Yes. I'm not
Did
gonna
you-
say anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, don't give anything away. I know Kyoshi's in it. She was in the second episode. I was like, oh my god. I remember Adam
Yeah.
kept on saying like, she's gigantic. She's so big.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, I have so many Kyoshi shipping friends who are just like, they don't even ship Kyoshi with anyone. It's just Kyoshi with herself being awesome. And yeah.
She's pretty badass. I'll give you that.
Oh, very much so. I aspire to be that level of intimidating. I'll never be that. Not with
She was
this
badass in the
face.
cartoon too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. And her book series?
There's a movie for her coming out too, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Avatar
an
Studios, I'm
animated
sure.
Kyoshi movie. Yeah.
Be amazing.
well, I too am highly anticipating the Kyoshi character in Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, no matter how excited I am to meet Kyoshi's intimidation and ship her, I'm going to have to pass on watching the second episode. But I will say,
Oh.
it's almost a yes, kind of like, hearing you guys talk about it and how fun it is. And like, that's a beautiful world that they've created, like I would
to
almost
our club.
consider watching the second, but
Welcome to our cult.
I can't. Welcome to our cult. That, maybe you're right. But it's a no
Welcome,
for me.
Squidward.
I'm sorry
Welcome,
to
Squidward.
say. A passive no, not an angry no.
Muhammad, grab the duct tape.
Jet Reno in the house. That's it for us, everybody. If you'd like us to review a show in the comments below, type WTF, the show, and where we can stream it, like Netflix or Paramount Plus, for example.
WTF Korra.
Oh, WTF Legends of Korra. Oh,
Is
That's
that
the
a
sequel to
spinoff of some-
Avatar.
Oh,
I actually
I
think
guess we could then, right?
I think you need to. You
Yeah.
really need to.
Need is a strong word.
I need you to.
All right.
You see Katara old in the first episode too.
Yes.
Oh, sign me up. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, everybody, this podcast was very fun.
I'm just gonna repeat that. This podcast was very fun.
This podcast was Flamio Hotman. You don't get that reference, Ryan.
No, sounds like a brand of chips, though, or some good flavor.
Fireflakes.
That's it for us, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications, and hang out with us next week. It's been great seeing you. Remember what Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony, and then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, that's not what he actually says. He really says, don't forget to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things.
All right, everybody. Freeze frame like a retiring earthbender.
Like a retiring earthbender? Oh.
Katie's the only one that actually retired.
That shitty smile and pretend that